Welcome to the 7th episode of Founders Only. My name is Ron Baetiong. I'm the founder and CEO of Podcast Network Asia and also the host of the Hustleshare podcast. Today is a very, very special episode because we will now feature the latest finisher who literally just sold this company a couple weeks ago. His name is Gian de la Rama of Aiah. And today we're going to go all the way back and talk about how he was able to sell Aiah to Sprout. We're going to walk through every single detail, what did they had to go and how it felt like when he was finally able to get the signed document. But of course, there's going to be jam-packed with a lot of learnings that you can learn from, and stick around till the end because he had a very, very unique Founders Only Top 5 that we will share in this episode. But before we start this episode, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because we need feedback. If you're liking this, again, subscribe. There's a lot of you that listen to this episode and to this podcast that are not subscribed. That's the easiest way that you can support this podcast. But before that, let's watch this. Founders Only is brought to you by PayMongo, the payment gateway for business growth. PayMongo allows your business to accept online payments from customers through Visa, MasterCard, GCash, GrabPay, Maya, online banking, buy now, pay later, and many more, all with just one online platform. Sign up for free at paymongo.com. Also brought to you by Capita. Capita's software solution seeks to automate the equity management process for startups, including workflows around cap tables, ESOPs, due diligence, and transactions. Sign up at capita.com to get started with your digital cap table, ESOP, award granting, and all things equity. Free for companies with under 25 stakeholders. And brought to you by GoTime Bank. GoTime Bank is owned by the Gokongwei Group, the same companies that brought you brands you love, like Cebu Pacific, Robinsons, True Value, Toys R Us, South Star Drug, and many more. GoTime Bank makes next-level banking a breeze with its convenient account opening process. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started via the app. Plus, get your GoTime Bank Visa card at one of their kiosks for free. Download the GoTime Bank app today and experience the next level of banking. You may visit www.gotimebank.com.ph for more details. And CCAP. CCAP is a lending platform powered by UBX Philippines. With CCAP, you can easily apply for a loan from 5,000 pesos up to 1 million pesos from the comfort of your home nationwide. Visit www.ccap.ph, sign up, and apply for a loan now. That's www.seekcap.ph. Take your business to new heights by seeking capital with CCAP. Welcome to the 7th episode of Founders Only. Super excited because, again, just recently, right? This is the latest finisher in Startup PH. This ecosystem needed a win badly. This year, 2023, as we're recording this, has been a freaking bloodbath for everyone. And every once in a while, we need a glimmer of hope. And again, let's just start it out with the biggest flowers. Congratulations, my man, because we have today the founder and CEO of the newly acquired Aiah, Mr. Gian de la Rama. Whoop, whoop.
Thanks,
Welcome
Ron, for
back.
having me. Yeah.
Man.
One more, the sequel.
Yes. Again, the sequel. I've had you on the show just literally last year. And that was one of the most special episodes ever because at one point we were competitors when we were in the chatbot grind. Yeah. Right? And then again, I had the utmost respect. You scared me shitless before, right? Still scared me shitless. But I'm glad I'm not in the chatbot grind anymore. Right? But man, congratulations for selling Aiah to Sprout.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll just start off again. Typically, we talk about what happened. Well, I'm just really, really curious about this.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel?
Well, it feels like a tremendous weight taken off my shoulders. That's one.
King Kong is off your back.
Yeah, to say the least,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But, you know, on one hand, you know, there's the satisfaction of actually, as you mentioned, of finishing.
Yes.
There's also the realization that it's not yet the actual finish.
Nope.
Which, you know, I can talk about more later because, you know, as a founder, you'll never not be a founder.
Nope.
Yeah, no matter what role you're in the future. So, yeah, I'm happy and grateful that Aiah has been acquired. I am also I'm also, I would say, challenged, right? To also prove that the acquisition will be worth it down the line. So that's basically what I have in mind right now. So yeah.
That sounds amazing, bro. And again, super duper congratulations. I'm
Thank you.
super eternally happy for you because I know how it feels.
Of course.
And I'm chasing that feeling again.
Yeah.
But again, let's walk us through. You don't get to this feeling without, the grind, just the acquisition grind. And that's the topic of what we're going to be talking about today. The topic is going to be, how do you freaking sell a startup in the Philippines, right? I mean, there are going to be nuances, but there are also going to be similarities over how you technically get a startup acquired. So the last time I had you, what was this, mid last year?
Middle of last year,
Yep.
yes.
And one of the things that we were talking about is like, all right, how you survived, how you grinded. But walk us through again how you started Aiah. Because it wasn't Aiah. It was different. You had
Correct.
a different co-founder
Yep.
and whatnot. Just quickly, we're not going to go to the Hustleshare time machine.
Sure.
What was the why and what was the first version of the company first?
Yeah, so in 2013, no, actually 10 years and I would say a few days ago because our 10th year
10-year
anniversary was
grind.
July 25.
Oh my
So,
God.
more than 10 years ago, so Aldrich, Abrogena and I, when we
Shout
started
out.
the company,
Mhm.
we did it out of necessity.
Yeah.
So we had a client. The client wanted us to work with them, but we didn't have a legal entity. So that's how we started the company.
You guys had separate companies, diba, at that
Correct.
one point.
So we had separate companies at one point. So, day one, we decided to combine and that became Innovantage, right?
Right.
And then, so what our why was, and actually that's still our why today, is that we wanted to help companies automate. Now, we wanted to help them get rid of paper and manual processes.
Right.
So over the years or over the decade, I would say, the how changed, right? But the why
The
remained
North Star
the same.
never changed.
Correct. Right? So, we wanted to build a future of work. We wanted a future of work wherein humans don't need to do the nitty-gritty, the repetitive stuff using our platform. So obviously from workflows, from where we started to AI, to where we are at now. So that's basically yung why ni Aiah.
Was that why and that North Star very, very, very clear? How? Because one of the dangers of pivoting in a startup is you completely change your North Star and you lose your identity somehow along the way.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Like I kept doing pivots and the North Star always changed. You're not just going to confuse your team. You're going to confuse your investors if you had one. And the worst thing is you're going to confuse yourself.
Correct.
The fact that you had a very solid why, how did you develop that?
Well, I'll be the first to admit that there have been a lot of times in the past that we strayed from that why. No. So, as a startup founder, you have to make difficult decisions along the way. You have to chase revenue. You have to make sure that you make payroll. And, I've made choices wherein, okay, we had to pursue this because we had to, make sure that we have enough resources to fund the team. So the why, shifted a bit. There was a time wherein we actually tried to do fintech all the way back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
CNOP? Was
Yeah,
it?
CNOP, yes. It was actually quite successful if you look at it from like app downloads. It was almost 20K, diba, within a week. But I knew that it strayed so far away from what we were doing that when we figured out that we were not making any money from it, I had to cut it. Okay?
Got it.
And then, correct.
So you're just literally like going on tangent a little bit, like, oh, wait, go
Yeah.
back. Right. Okay.
And sometimes as well, even though we've strayed from that why, when we have an opportunity that at first glance, it's not, serving our eventual North Star, there were opportunities within those contracts wherein we were able to shift the engagement so that it would still service, my vision or the company's vision.
Correct. And you're totally right. Because again, in a perfect world, if all the stars aligned and you just got lucky, we have the runway, we have the team. And again, luck is on your side where you don't have to go astray and just go straight to the jugular without having to make tough decisions like doing shit you don't like, talking to, again, there's going to be compromises. Perfect. Go ahead and get it done. But majority of the time, we're doing things that, oh my God, these are the only cards you're dealt with.
Correct.
You got a bad hand. You're going to have to make do with that hand or else death is with a sickle. He's at the door
Yes.
waiting to chop your door.
And it makes things interesting. I mean, if everything was, hunky-dory, it won't be as exciting, no?
No.
Of course, there are times that I really wanted to, scream and curse my way out of a problem. But, I realize now, again, I have 10 years of experience. So looking back, those difficult situations were the situations that molded me as a founder, that helped the team move forward. Sometimes there were 2 steps forward, 1 step back situations. No, at that time I thought, hey, it's not the ideal situation, but looking back, it was the ideal for that time. Right? You only make decisions based on the data that you have currently, anyway.
And the hand you got,
correct,
right? And you can only do so much. But okay, if you wanna understand how Gian started his whole grind, we're not gonna go Hustleshare route. Okay, this is the sequel. It's gonna be in the description box below, where you can check out the hustle behind Aiah. Today, we're gonna talk about, again, the acquisition. Okay, so I'll reference point our last conversation mid 2022, where again we literally dissected even how we started competing before, how I was scared shitless of you. I think we were the same at one point, but I'm just happy. This startup ecosystem has now 2 chatbot exits. AI, okay? So if you want to exit,
number 1 and number 2.
Okay? Chatbot is the way. Okay, just kidding. But bro, here's what I understand. I want to understand. So I'll just recap this in a very short version. Again, the long version, you can listen to it in the Hustleshare app. Last time we talked, mid 2022, you mentioned that there was already a product that you sold to Sprout.
Correct.
Walk us through again what that product was. Because again, I think that was the precursor.
Correct.
You don't sell the whole company if you didn't see the whole value chain. And like, oh my God, this product's so amazing. Let's see what else you guys have. What was the product like, and how did you sell that product to Sprout?
Sure. So the product that we sold to Sprout, it was Linea. That was actually based on Cogito, our very first product.
Oh my God.
Right? So,
okay.
So Linea was a low-code workflow platform. No, this is actually the product that helped companies automate their business processes. No, it allowed non-IT users to actually create their own automated workflows.
Got it.
So Linea was a culmination of that 9 years at that time of work, and then that's what I sold to Sprout.
Wow.
So yeah, when we spoke last year, we were still in this middle of negotiations, looking at everything. But I think having sold Linea first prepared me for eventually selling Aiah today.
All right, but why did they buy it? Because again, I've had Patrick several episodes ago on Founders Only, and he talked about the rule of 3 and 10 and how that almost broke Sprout several times, and they almost died during the pandemic. And then they had a mighty comeback in 2021, I think 2022, right? But yeah, massive comeback. If you want to understand that, check out the last few episodes. Patrick Gentry, the Pogi guy. There you go, with a little bit of gray hair, right? You'll understand it. You'll see him right away. But I want to understand why they bought. Why were they in acquisition mode all of a sudden? Because again, after almost dying, running out of runway, making a really deep cut, they bounced back incredibly. And how did Linea come into play? Because again, as far as I understood, dude, you guys had multiple products in Aiah.
Correct.
Again, you guys were doing well in that sense because it's a SaaS business. How did that mini acquisition happen?
Yeah, so it started because Patrick and I, we've been friends for almost 10 years as well. We've been talking about working together ever since. Even in Cogito days, how we could synergize.
Even way before Sprout was born.
No, after na.
Okay, got it.
So yeah, I remember talking to him in, I think it was Raid the Fridge or one of those events in Kickstart. How do we work together? It was still workflows at that time. We then talked about working together using chatbots. Yeah. So there was already the familiarity with Patrick as well as Sprout the company. And then I guess later after the pandemic, that's when the Sprout ecosystem, I guess as he mentioned it, was started, or at least the ecosystem started to grow. So I guess the biggest reason why Linea was acquired is because it could be potentially the glue.
How is it the glue?
Yeah. So, part of the Linea platform is its ability to interact with different systems. So we built what we call the universal connector.
Got it.
So it actually enabled other platforms with APIs to interact with one another in a workflow. So think about it, no. So if you're a company, you're an enterprise, and you have multiple systems, and that's the case. No? There will never be a company with just one system.
Yep.
You would need something to make sure that they all interoperate. Right? That's where Linea came in.
Right.
So yeah, ideally, Linea will become the glue that sticks together, that binds together the different applications of the Sprout ecosystem.
And Sprout needed that because they were also becoming multi-product. And it's so hard to integrate with companies who are on-prem, some are on cloud, a mixture of both, and everybody had their own stack.
Correct.
And IT company and IT teams do not want to budge. Okay? When that clash happens, it's not your client's IT team that will adjust to you. It's supposed to be adjusting your workflow to them. So that allowed Sprout to do it.
Among other things. Yeah.
How was that product doing well though? Because again, this is what the importance of building relationships, solid relationships with fellow founders. You wouldn't even know that they needed that if you did not have that solid relationship with Patrick. How did you bridge? How did he find that as someone that you already had? And how did that work together, zeroing in that specific product lang?
Well, I guess we've been talking about Cogito nga since the very beginning.
So he knew.
Yeah. And the concept of Cogito was, Linea and Cogito, different names, but it's essentially Linea is an upgraded version of Cogito. So, it has the same objectives. It's solving the same problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. Walk me through that conversation. Like, Gian, I need that thing of yours, right? Because were you even at selling point at that point? Because you already had that relationship with Patrick. Great. So he knew that he wanted. But this is where founders can differ a lot. Because some founders have the mentality, especially if they're newer. Like, this is mine forever. I'm never going to let go. Control.
Yeah.
Right? But for us, we're old farts now. We knew that at one point we want to get acquired. How did that first transaction transpire?
Yeah, I think that was early last year. If I'm not mistaken, it was one of the first founder events that happened after the restrictions were lifted.
Yeah.
I think it was in Poblacion, one of the wine. I forgot the name of the wine.
Dude, I was there.
You were there. I know.
So that
was I think there was a Kaya Founders event.
Yeah, there was a Kaya Founders event. And I was like, why is everybody here?
Yeah.
You're in the same table with Paul Rivera, with E.R. Rolyan.
Correct.
Man, everyone on that table is now in Founders Only. Matter of fact, Paul Rivera, you got next. Okay?
So
because at the top floor, dude, that was so surreal. I'll just go on tangent here.
Sure.
I've never seen a startup event in just one building where all the big guys were there. At the top floor, the Gokongweis were there. And I was even telling, I forgot who was telling it. It's like Artie Lopez or Dennis of Prosperna. It's like, dude, just imagine the valuation and the net worth of all the people that are in this building.
Correct.
Holy fucking shit. So yeah, you had a wave maker. Accidentally, this wasn't, because I think this is Philippine, no, that's not Philippine. The startup event that Esquire did.
Yes.
Yeah. And then this just so happens at Dr. Wine in Poblacion, Wavemaker had their own thing. I even saw Paul, like, yo, what up, Paul? I was like, is this the same thing? Because I thought it was it. It's like, where is everybody? Oh, you're at the top floor. Okay. Not the big boys. Not the SAS. The SAS boys are down here.
Yeah, the SAS boys were in the ground floor.
Right. Okay. How did that transpire? Oh my God. I still remember Patrick. I remember this vividly. You guys were talking about the schools of your kids. Where he was sending his kids to school, about having a progressive school and non-progressive school. So that's what I caught. I don't know where the Acqui, maybe when I went up na, like, all right, Ron's not here anymore. Let's talk about this Acqui.
I think, I can't remember the actual conversation, but I know we were talking about working together. And then, obviously, this was a Wavemaker event. So we had the same investor, no? Si Wavemaker. So si Paul. So, Paul was also instrumental actually in, bringing this transaction together. So, props to Paul. Shout out to Wavemaker.
Shout out, exit Paul. There you go.
Yeah. Of course, and to the Kickstart folks who made it happen, and Patamar, other investors.
Right.
But yeah, the So we had this conversation with Patrick na very high level, di ba? Okay, let's work together. Let's see where it goes.
Mhm.
You know, potentially it can lead to an acquisition if memory serves. And that the acquisition thing wasn't really like solidified at that time. But we were already like at that point as well, I think I was personally also ready for an acquisition.
Nice.
10 years
Year
ago.
9?
Yeah, year 9.
Mm.
10 years ago, I told myself that I'll give myself 10 years. Diba? So year 9, or as we approached year 9, I was sort of open already to see, you know, where it can take us, etc. And I think initially what we were talking about then was like even the chatbot business, not Linea. It quickly obviously turned to Linea. And then, you know, we had several other meetings, calls, meetings, WhatsApp conversations, and whatnot. And we were really discussing, okay, how do we work? Okay, what's your vision of the ecosystem? What's my vision for Linea? How we can work together? You know, how many people are involved? And eventually, you know, things started to build up to the point that, yeah, we were already talking price, we were talking timelines and all of that.
Wow.
And then yeah, obviously that acquisition had the blessing of both our boards and when we asked, and
you had similar investors. So that was a
similar
plus.
investors, yeah.
Okay.
And we saw a lot of things eye to eye. No?
Got
So
it.
we were both SaaS founders. We were both B2B SaaS founders, right? Automation is our goal,
Correct.
right? We had relatively the same North Star. No, we wanted to help people through automation, essentially, enrich lives through automation. So, and it was quite easy, no? Last year, actually, even this year, it was quite easy to have that conversation. And then, you know, one thing led to another. I think July we signed the agreement. August the team transitioned.
Yeah,
to
and then that's
Sprout.
when I had you on the show.
Yes.
Amazing, right? At that point, when you sold Linea, right?
Mhm.
Linea. Did you have, again, you probably had the precursor like, holy shit, this might be bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But after you sold Linea, what did that feel as a founder?
It felt like a vindication, no? Especially for Linea, because Linea was Cogito, our first product.
Yeah.
That there was a value, not just the value that I ascribed to it as a founder,
Yeah.
but a value that other people ascribed
Someone
to
was
it.
willing to pay for it.
Someone was willing to pay. That's always, remember, that's how you validate. It was
Correct.
someone was willing to pay for your product.
Mhm.
So I was, you know, relieved. At the same time, I felt accomplished.
Mm.
It was bittersweet because obviously we also had to let go of half of the team
Correct.
as they moved to Sprout. No, but you know, then again, you know, it was also a way for us to focus on a new thing, right?
Got it.
Or actually focus on an old thing if you think about it, no, yung chatbots and AI.
Mhm.
So in one hand, yeah, it was bittersweet. Obviously, you know, it was a relief. It was also an accomplishment,
Mhm.
but it was also again a challenge for us. Hey, okay, what's next step? What's gonna happen to I right now?
And that's amazing. And this is where the stark differences, I guess, with our two acquisitions
Mhm.
happen. Because when you got acquired, it was a product acquisition. It's a
Correct.
real pure acquisition.
Mhm.
Because with us, when we got acquired in 2018, it was an acqui-hire.
Mhm.
They were acquiring, yes, we had clients,
Mhm.
but we didn't have a product because that wasn't our model. In Chatbot PH back then, our model was we were a dev shop.
Mhm.
What was attractive to our acquirer which was Sterling, was our accounts receivable and what we can build on top of it. We were just trying to build, which we never got to do
Mhm.
after we got acquired. But that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, when you acquire a product, it's already should be able to operate on its own and
Mhm.
just add value. I mean, there's always going to be kinks that you're going to have to work
Yeah.
out. When that happened, okay, was there a point where, okay, what was it like? Because I had a point after acquisition of Chatbot PH. I was like, okay, shit, what the hell's next?
Mhm.
What's going on? But again, this is a mini acqui pa lang. How did you steer the team into now focusing on doubling down on the Aiah product?
Sure. So yeah, so once we had, you know, Linea sold and the dust settled, you know, after the acquisition, we knew that we wanted to go full on AI, right? In this case, we wanted to double down on NLP, right? Natural language processing.
This is pre-chat GPT fucking exploding.
Correct.
Okay.
So this was like a few months before, you know, ChatGPT was launched. So we decided to double down on our chatbots, specifically our lead generation chatbots, and we built, you know, more capabilities around it. And then while we were doing that, again, I think I'm a multi-product founder.
Yeah.
So I always think of, are there any other products that we can launch based on top of our technology, based on our technology? So when we were doing our chatbots, we also realized that, hey, we've built a couple of NLP models.
So what's next after you sold, Linea? What was the next thing that you had to, all right, guys, this is what we're going to be doing?
Yeah. So yeah, we were doubling down on our chatbot business, our lead generation chatbot business, and then natural language processing. So actually, shortly thereafter, I would say, I think September, if I'm not mistaken, last year, we decided to also launch another product called the AI Marketplace.
You went the marketplace, right?
Correct. So this marketplace kasi is because we had several models, NLP models that we built from scratch, and then we wanted other companies to use them. So we built this marketplace. You can access our API, pick a model, etc. And then we started onboarding APIs or models from other companies as well.
Nice.
So that was early on September, and then ChatGPT happened a few weeks later.
Got it.
And then everything went nuts.
All right. Last question before I take our first break. When ChatGPT happened, what was the effect on Aiah?
It was extremely positive for us. I think
that was the tipping point we were all waiting for.
Correct. I was telling Paulo of Kaya Founders.
Yeah.
Na parang we were doing chatbots before they were cool. Right?
Yep.
Right? It was only a couple of us.
People didn't even know what the fuck that was.
Correct.
Right?
And there was this time in between, diba, that chatbots were not cool.
Nope.
Since,
it's like, what's that? That's a fad.
They don't work, blah, blah, blah. And then ChatGPT happened.
Yeah.
Right? So two things happened. One, it brought NLP chatbots back to the mainstream.
Yep.
So a lot of people, even my parents, were talking about ChatGPT. So
all of a sudden we're cool.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're cool. And then
you're cool. I wasn't doing you're the only cool guy left. Right.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of interest as well from corporates, right?
Yeah.
What can ChatGPT do to their operations? And that's where we came in. I was talking to a lot of companies at that time about ChatGPT, how it can help, how it cannot help, and so on and so forth. So it really brought a lot of our solutions to the mainstream.
Okay, because again, we always say that product market fit feels like drinking off of a fire hose. Did it feel like that?
Yes. In one hand, yes. On the other hand, I'd say, as with drinking from a fire hose, you have to sometimes close your mouth or else you'll just drown.
You're going to waterboard yourself. You're going to drown.
Correct. So, so it was both, yes, happy. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of potential clients. You're deploying, too many chatbots to be honest. But at the same time, there was this fear of saturation.
Got it. That it might have a bubble effect again.
Correct. We've been there, right? We've seen, we lasting as long as we did. We've weathered several, cycles.
Yeah.
So, back of mind, maybe this is another cycle that might all of a sudden, turn around. But so far, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I understand. And at the end of the day, because the foundation that was here was built on years and years of those ebbs and flows.
Correct.
But people kept building, and now it's mainstream. But when that happened, the effect that you were able to then take advantage of was positive because you were ready from the get-go.
That was like, we were at the right place at the right time with the right capabilities.
Correct. Because imagine if that fire hose came through and you look around like, holy shit, we're just going to have to build this. Even if you hackathon it out, it's not going to work. You've had that in the bag ever since. And now when the influx comes in, the money will come. So, all right, now let's take our first break. And when we come back, we will now talk about how the hell did we go from selling Linea to selling the whole company step by step without breaching some non-competes and confidentiality stuff. We'll talk about that more after the break. Hey hustlers, are you tired of bank transfer fees and low interest rates on your savings? Say hello to GoTime Bank. GoTime Bank offers interest rates 50x higher than traditional banks. Enjoy this rate on your savings. No minimum amount, no deposit caps, and no tasks or missions to complete. With GoTime Bank, you can make quick and secure transfers to other banks with 3 bank transfers per week. Plus, earn Go Rewards points and redeem them as cash with a simple tap in the GoTime Bank app. Experience the next level of banking with GoTime Bank. Download the app now or visit www.gotime.com.ph to experience next level banking. It's GoTime! Hey hustlers, it's a brand new season and I have a brand new tool that will help you scale your startup properly as you grow your team and give them equity eventually. And if you want to have a record of ownership management, efficient equity workflow, and award grants digitally, Capita has you covered with CapMap. CapMap is designed to enable cap table and ESOP management, as well as digital share insurance for companies across South and Southeast Asia. Also, Capita provides ESOP advisory services for you to set up your plan and engage your employees through equity awards. And trust me, this is a boon because as you grow your team, you want to give their best people a piece of the company that they're hustling for. Investing shares and giving ESOP is not easy if you don't have a product like this. So please do check it out and sign up now at capita.com with a Q. Again, that's capita.com with a Q. And it's free for companies that have under 25 stakeholders. Get ready to experience the power of seamless equity workflow management today. And we're back in the break. We are still with Gian of Aiah, who then just told us how he was able to sell the first product, the precursor for the big Acqui. And before the break, we were talking about how ChatGPT really just changed the game, right? Just briefly talk about what did you guys already have in terms of products in the bot space? Because again, the impressive route that you guys did, that which we didn't do a chatbot. Again, same thing. We were just lucky. The hype was real. We sold high before the first bubble burst in chatbots.
Correct.
Right? I got that opportunity. We'll talk about later why the timing of an acquisition is so important, right? But today, I want to talk about what did you have in the bag? Again, timing-wise, when the demand came, because you were doing the product route SaaS style. Us before, we were doing dev shop style. We were always doing bespoke, and it's so hard because you're gonna have to rebuild everything. I mean, we had some modules already ready, but the customization was just a lot of work. And again, people don't pay on time. What were those things that were ready when the influx came?
Yeah. So, well, we already had the Aiah chatbot platform. No, we've had clients. We've been running the platform since 2016. And we basically knew how to build and run chatbots at scale, no, in Facebook Messenger. No, we just stayed within Facebook Messenger as well. So
I didn't do the IG WhatsApp route.
We did IG. We were talking about WhatsApp and Viber, but we never, got to that
adaptation point. Also there. What didn't really fly.
Correct.
Right.
And even in the use case standpoint, now, as you know, there's a lot of potential use cases for chatbots. So actually, last year we made a conscious decision that we focus on lead generation, not even e-commerce. Right. E-commerce was still white hot at that time. So, and we built e-commerce chatbots already in the past. Okay. Sabi ko, lead gen. Let's do this. Let's just focus on this, and let's dominate that slice of the market.
Got it. So when this came through, okay, just talk about how wild were the demand requests. Because back then, in 2017, 2018, 2019 even, up to 2020, before the pandemic happened, the main purpose of why companies reached out to us in Chatbot PH was, I wanted to automate customer service. I don't want to hire people anymore, chatting with thousands and thousands of users to freaking do things. I want to just eliminate that, refocus my strategy to having humans do more meaningful work. At this point, 2023, 2022, what were the automations that people wanted?
Well, customer service is still there. But since we were coming off the high of the pandemic, when e-commerce was actually a thing, there was still this focus on generating revenue, right? So, and it's actually, to be honest, it's a lot easier to sell a revenue-generating product than it is to sell a cost-saving product. So I think of
cost, an investment.
Correct. Right? Customer service is actually a cost-saving product if you think about it.
Yeah.
More work for less resources. revenue generating. Obviously, you make money for the company.
Mhm.
So the CEOs, the C levels actually listen to you
Got it.
a lot harder because it's all you have to prove that hey, we can generate X amount of leads, and when it goes to your pipeline, it will result in X amount of
Now
sales.
it's your
Right?
sales job to capitalize on those
Correct.
opportunities.
So that's how I was selling our chatbots, no. And when Chat GPT came, it actually added a layer of greater interactivity,
Mm.
greater, I won't say intelligence per se,
Got
no,
it.
but greater conversational capability, I would say, no?
Mhm.
So that you won't be as robotic as before. No? As
Got
you would know, chatbots can get quite robotic if not configured correctly.
Absolutely. Right. And again, people are just ruthless when they use bots.
Yeah.
They ask the dumbest shit. And I see it because I'm still admin on a lot of those pages. What the hell are these guys trying to do? Right. So 2 things I want to now understand, bro. How big was this wave as a factor to then leading to this next acquisition? Right? Because is it an impact, or again, just because you already had that relationship with Pat and
Mhm.
and the rest, or how did that come through as we spoke?
Well, since we already had that relationship and we already worked together, and Pat, bought already from Aiah before, that was actually I would say the primary driving force.
Nice.
The Chat GPT wave or the renaissance of AI
Mhm.
in 2023 just sped it up, right? Because a lot of other companies have been considering, building their own internal AI.
Dude, it was
teams.
scary. Like there's a new AI company every week.
Correct.
What the hell? What is Midjourney? What's DID? What are all these things? Generative AI. But I understood because I was from the game. But I was like, oh my god, these guys! How are they able to build it so fast and so good? It's because of the underlying. They're all using the same shit. Honestly,
Yeah.
they just rehash it, call it something differently. But okay, when these things happened, right, and the hype is real and the metrics, I'm pretty sure you felt it on your cash flow, on your MRR. Walk me through that next conversation now with Pat.
Yeah. So, I think it was around March.
Dr. Ryan again? No. Was it a startup? A startup?
no.
Okay, not anymore. Direct na.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
think Pat and I had a conversation as well that wherein he opened up potentially buying the rest of Aiah. So
Why did they want to buy the rest?
well, obviously looking in hindsight now, it's adding the AI capabilities of Aiah
Mm-mm.
into the company, number one. And I guess the synergy that we can have once again with the Linea team who's already with Sprout, right? Because the reason, just because we had multiple products doesn't mean there wasn't any logic as to how I built these products.
Correct.
Aiah and Linea actually work a lot better together. AI and automation,
Wow.
they're made for each other.
Mhm.
So that was probably the biggest driving force. No,
Mhm.
I think they were impressed with the team that transitioned over for Linea,
Okay.
and then they just wanted to see if how that relationship will grow. And of course, we were already knee deep in generative AI at that point.
Correct.
And then I'm pretty sure every SaaS company is now looking for an AI
AI guy.
an AI guy or an AI team to help them take make the most out of generative AI.
Correct.
Obviously, it just so happened that he knew me.
Yes.
That was it.
No, come on. I'll just give you flowers.
Mhm.
It's not even Founders Only Top 5.
Mhm.
You're the best in the business in this thing.
Thank you.
10 years of fucking hustle and grind. Again, when I was in that lane, you gave me sleepless nights. Okay?
And you gave me sleepless nights.
I
as well.
exited
mean,
right away so that you can sleep better. Ragde was the one who's giving you a bit of no, but I was like, okay, there's only room for 2. I'm the third wheel. Bye. Okay, I'm do podcast na lang, right? But I understand now that again, this is such a match made in heaven. This acquisition of the whole company, the Linea platform was a precursor, but you could have done more, and now we're here. I want walk us through the step by step without revealing too much.
Of course.
Okay, on what's the step by step process when you're deciding to sell your company here in the Philippines?
I guess I would say step one, even though it wasn't really step one for me, was that the founder or me in this case should be ready to sell. right? So I already, as I mentioned last year, I made that conscious decision to, accept acquisitions as they come along because I'm heading to my 10th year.
Were
Right.
you actively selling?
No.
It just happened.
Yes.
Got it.
So, and it did help that it was Patrick, right? It was Sprout. So yes, I was already not really super decided to sell, but I was open to selling again.
Got it.
And it just so happened that, Patrick gave that call.
Did the thought of selling
Mhm.
even cross your mind earlier during your 10-year grind?
Several times. I guess I thought about it, but I never followed through with it. Right? I was focused on selling our products, and I was obviously selling our company.
Yeah.
So, but as time went on, and as I've seen that the industry grow by leaps and bounds, I also realized that hey, this might become a lifestyle business, which I didn't want to do if I continued on my path. Maybe there is a way wherein it can accelerate with another partner, right? Maybe from within a larger company, a larger organization. So that was it. I was already thinking about that.
And at the end of the day, the other thing that I'm just speaking from experience, if you're gonna sell, because there are times where I just want to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
It usually happens when you're in the trenches.
Mhm.
Fuck, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. Right? But that's the worst time to sell.
Mhm.
Because you're gonna get fleeced. You're gonna get a shitty ass deal, and most likely people are not even gonna want to acquire it.
Mhm.
They're gonna watch you die and be a vulture and pick you apart.
Mhm.
Right? The beauty about when we sold our companies, we sold it at a high. We had all the leverage in the world to say, yeah, I can sell, but there's also a point where I don't have to.
Yeah.
Right? That's the best time to sell, when you have full leverage over the type of negotiations, even if you're the smaller entity, right? And you have the ability to negotiate terms. What are the things? Because if you're looking at it, all right, and I don't have runway, I don't have sales, you're at the mercy, or even you're lucky if someone's even interested to give you a lifeboat, right? Would you say that was also a perfect thing? Because at one, again, you decided already
Mhm.
that you want to sell. But is it the second factor that, this is the right timing because we're at a high again? Because you've seen the lows.
Yeah.
It's ugly,
Correct.
right? Was that a factor?
It was actually we were, I would say, not at the high, but
The uptick.
we're in the uptick, yeah. And it's also, to be quite frank, no, there's also this weariness as a founder, right? I've been doing this for 10 years. I know the hustle, I know the grind. I know we are in the uptick, but I also know full well that it's not going to be easy, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that can happen as you grow that you can just trip over and then be in another.
And you're not in control.
Yeah, and you're not in control, especially now, with the generative AI. At least for startups, a double-edged sword. One, we're all happy, it's all growing, but at the same time, there are a lot more companies,
Correct.
right? So now we have to fight for our lives. You have to differentiate, and that's something that for me was a little bit scary. Not because I think I couldn't do it, but it's because I'm gonna do it again, right? I'm gonna go through the hustle, and part of me wanted to, hey, maybe I want to get that big thing out of my shoulder again, and then maybe do it from a better, I would say, from better standpoint, from a bigger platform, so to speak. So yeah.
And you have an arsenal of again, a new army, and again, backup.
Correct.
So I'm gonna go through this new mountain that all of a sudden it's like, if you got through, it's like, oh my God, there's another mountain. I know I can get there, but I'm scared because I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to make it past. That's amazing. Okay, so second factor. What is the third factor? Is there the other factors that it made you consider selling?
Yeah. So I guess the third factor is whom I'm selling to, right? So Sprout, Patrick. I admire Patrick. I admire Sprout. Patrick and Alex, actually, and I admire Sprout. And I've heard good things from the Linea team as well. And Pat and Alex have heard or have experienced good things with the Linea team as well.
Okay.
So yeah, and we share the same vision, and the same, surprisingly, even the same culture as a company. So parang
now they said that.
yeah. So there was this fit.
Wait, did you do the Sprout Creed or what?
Of course. I can't recite it yet, to be honest. I still have to memorize it. But,
HR,
yeah.
this guy.
but I'll give me a few days. I'll memorize it. So
If you want to know what the Sprout tweet is, again, watch the Sprout episode on Founders Only. They
Correct.
talk about their culture. Okay.
There was a culture fit. Obviously, there's the same vision.
Okay.
And they believed in us, even when Linea.
Okay, so step by step.
Mhm.
So when that is in,
Mhm.
how did that turn into, okay, was there a term sheet? What was that? Was there an offer or did you guys get into the table? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I can split it up into 4 phases.
Okay,
So,
phase 1.
phase 1, di ba? Expression of interest, which happened,
Okay.
right?
I like you.
So phase 2, I call it cards on the table. No, so I think very early on, since we share the same investors,
Yeah.
we already approach our respective investors saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
I'm talking with Patrick about the potential acquisition.
Mhm.
Will you allow this? Obviously, we have to get the board approval and all of that."
Right.
And both boards agreed. And then again, cards on the table. We were already talking about price very early on. Right.
You already had a price.
Yeah, we had a lot of back and forth about price. No, I had the number in mind. I'm sure he had the number in mind. But for me, that was at least in this case, it was quite important because, especially here in the Philippines,
Correct.
if you don't get the price agreed on, at least the high level, it's gonna come back to bite you.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the acquisition.
Because you cannot change the price down the road na.
Yeah. Well, that and also, sometimes you have expectations
Yeah.
that you have to carry as you go through. And obviously, the longer that you go through an acquisition, if your expectations aren't met, the more sour it'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You have to do it fast and accurate.
correct. So we agreed on a price, no, at least the high level. And surprisingly, that part was I would say, not the longest part of the entire
Because you already had
process.
prices in mind. You probably had to. Did you meet at the middle somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So, and then the longest part was part of cards at the table, the due diligence.
That
Right.
man, the experience I had there, holy fucking shit. That was the most nerve-wracking thing because already someone's interested.
Mm-mm.
They like you. You have a price on the table. But again, there's DD.
Mm-mm.
People are gonna look at your books. And these are people you're not talking to. There's a legal team, and whatnot.
Mm.
I remember how I almost shat my pants so many times. She's like, oh my God, this is so... And then we were running low on cash.
Yeah.
Because, okay, we have to just stick with what we had. I even talked about this in the last episode with Founders Only with Christian Blanquera.
Mhm.
They had to lend me a check just to make ends meet on that payroll. Because again, we were trying to just get this over with.
Mhm.
How nerve-wracking was DD for you?
Well, it wasn't as nerve-wracking as before because, to be quite frank, this is not the first DD
Yeah,
that
okay.
I did, right? So
Perfect.
even last year, we had a little bit of due diligence with Linea. So, though, as far as the number of due diligence steps that we had to take, it's a lot more, right?
Got it.
So,
Is it different than the VCDD than an AcquiDD?
I would say this was more comprehensive.
They really looked at every single thing.
I had to submit like resumes of the entire team, getting the entire stack. I remember we had to do like open source scans and all of this. So it was really quite, it was quite comprehensive. And then obviously that's just technical. And then we had to go to legal DD, financial DD, and then HR. So we ran through the entire gamut.
How long did that take?
Couple of months, maybe 4
see.
months. So it was actually it got nerve-wracking, I guess, as the months had gone by, parang the longer that you're into an acquisition, the risk, parang the fear of it failing at the last minute
Yes.
is getting greater. Kasi nga, what if it didn't happen and then, diba, sana kami, right? Because we invested almost half a year of our time here. So that was always there. I'd say I took it, in stride somewhat. I mean, there was always this.
I want to know
times
what's it like as a founder during that time? Because, man, I try to be just have as much poise as I can, but there are days where I'm just really freaking nervous
Well,
and anxious at the same time.
it was always there. I mean, I think especially as we got into the last part, the anxiety was going up. I mean, it's like, diba, it's this, I realized at that time kasi obviously hindi pa tapos, no, it wasn't done yet.
Yeah.
I was afraid, but I was afraid more of the unknown as it is of, I didn't take comfort in the fact that we were at this point of the acquisition. Kasi looking back, I remember, right? We had to go through several steps of DD, diba? These steps didn't happen in parallel.
Nope.
They were done in sequence. So basically, before you get to the next step, you should have passed the previous step, diba? So obviously, since I was already at the last step, I should have taken comfort in the fact that we passed the last three, diba?
Right.
Parang ganon. So, but yun nga eh, I should have taken comfort in that. But obviously, you were in the middle.
It's there. It's like, oh my God, oh my God,
So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it was always, I was afraid because again, it was a growing market, diba? Generative AI.
Right.
The
There
longer,
are a lot of other options there.
correct. The longer I take, with this, the less opportunity I'll have with capturing more of the market, diba? If it didn't happen. So yun yung pinakamalaking fear ko. And then, obviously there's the 10-year deadline. No? That, quite frankly, that also made a factor. July 25, 2023 was my 10th year with Aiah. So parang I told myself 10 years ago that I should either sell or, diba, we get acquired or
How
I close
old
the
are you
company or
now?
IPO. I'm 40. So I started the company when I was 30.
See? So the reason why I asked that question is, guys, if you're a founder and you really want to do this shit, whether it's high or low, this is a 10-year grind. It's a 10-year commitment. When investors also invest in you, they understand that this is a 10-year sequence, right? And majority of the time, it's going to be shit. So that's why you test your mettle. So, okay, you got there now. You checked all the boxes. Bro, can you be very, very vivid on how it felt? I'll just start first. I still remember this vividly. Forgot the date. But I remember likening it to the sequence of Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness when he finally got a job.
Got a job, yeah.
I just fucking cried. It's like, shit. Because again, everything that I've ever wanted, my North Star personally, was finally gonna come true. I wanted to buy my mama house.
Yeah.
With this money, I can finally fucking do that. That all of, again, I because my first startup failed, diba? I did chatbot. I'd say I got lucky in year 7, right? 2018. In between 2017 2018. All of the shit that I had to go through during those years, and most of them were shit, were difficult, they're just, traumatic.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, it's gonna be shit. But this very one day, just made it worth it. All the pain, all the suffering, all the sacrifices, all just made sense for me. And all I just felt was eternal gratitude. And then the second part is like, fuck, the monkey is off my back. I can now have sweldo. Oh my God. Bro, explain and again, describe what it felt when it was already signed.
So I guess it's in stages now over a couple of days.
Okay.
So when the contract came out finally, and then when it went through not just, let's say, an email with a Microsoft document that you have to edit, when an actual Dropbox sign email came in that it says the contract for acquisition.
Okay.
That parang that at that point I was so ecstatic, right? So it wasn't signed yet, but I was extremely ecstatic that all of these months of work getting to this point. I didn't even think of like the last 9 years, just the last 6 months of work getting to this point. I was so happy. I was so excited. And then when I signed, like obviously a few minutes later, I've read through the contract back and forth. So parang I did one last run through and then I signed. Parang again, it's not fully executed, right? We had to several signatories. So, but when I signed, that's when it felt na, parang there's this huge weight. Parang it's one thing is not worrying about salaries of the people anymore.
Dude, you did that for 10 years, my fucking God.
Correct. And then
Wow.
but it's also like this pressure of trying to prove that your ideas were valid, right? Because right there and then, it's not, it's obviously like for me just a start of another chapter. But at this point, it was this great validation that hey, Gian, blood, sweat, and tears, going through all of these challenges the past 9-10 years, it all went to this point, and I'd say it was worth it, right? Would I do it again? I do it again, obviously differently because we have the experience. And then when Patrick finally signed, right, like the last part, that's when things suddenly like parang it became more real to me. Na parang this is it, right? This is at this date. I forgot which date, but it was like 2 weeks ago. Parang
It's official.
the Aiah chapter will be closing and the Sprout chapter will be starting, at least for us. So parang at that point, I remember I was already giddy for a few days, but when that happened, there was also this realization that hey, it's good that you're happy, Gian. It's good that everything is finally making a lot of sense, I would say. But now is the start of okay, now what you're gonna do, right? Medyo mabilis ako dun sa type na yun that I had to go from ecstatic happiness, etc., to challenging myself again, which for me is a good thing, no? Kasi as I mentioned, no, once you're a founder, once you're an entrepreneur, right, you'll always be an entrepreneur. So even though I'm technically no longer like the CEO, I still have that entrepreneurial side.
Absolutely.
Right? What opportunities can we take within Sprout to grow the business, right? How do we make AI this differentiating factor, right? This USP. So I was already thinking about that, but I think if I stopped myself, hey Gian, there's time, di ba? Enjoy it. At least, just take a couple of days to just reflect.
Simmer it in.
Yeah. You spent thousands of days anyway already on Aiah. Take 1 or 2 weeks just to make sure that you take stock, reflect, be thankful for everything that's happened.
Dude, I still remember when I told my mom and my wife, then my girlfriends, like shit, just seeing the joy in their eyes. Like, I didn't make it. We made it.
Correct.
Like shit. Because success, again, failing you can do alone. Success, you always had help. So I was super grateful of all the help of my family, my friends, everybody that helped me get here. I shared that with them. But the most important ones was, again, who I was doing it for, which was my family. Describe to me what was that moment like when you told your wife, your kids, or who you ever wanted to talk to about this.
Sure. Well, again, I'm finally at the point that I know I can provide from my family without really thinking about it. And especially now since my daughter's starting grade 3, my son's starting grade 1. So so Aiah is my panganay if you think about it. But so there's this joy obviously that things and then there's this relief, and then at the same time for me as well is I know I can spend a lot more unencumbered time.
Yes.
Right? With my kids, with my family.
That you sacrificed early on.
Correct. And then there's also this. So there's my family, of course. There's also the team, because I've been pretty transparent with my team as to this entire acquisition. They knew about it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before everything actually came together. And then members of my Mancom actually knew it a lot earlier on. So, they were all parang, sharing the joy with this entire team of people who also sacrificed and worked hard for this. That for me is also special, right? And then shout out as well to our investors, to Wavemaker, to Kickstart, to Patomar, to everyone who believed in us, right? The road has been rocky to say the least, but getting to the end, no matter what end that is, but getting to the end, is always this accomplishment. And they believed in us when no one did. Right, so the joy multiplies. So parang concentric circles, diba? Family, team, investors, customers, and they all shared in that joy.
Dude, that joy, whenever I think about it, is the same way it's the failures sting you. the joy will never leave you. And
Of course.
honestly, when you feel it, it's like winning a championship. I'm liking it that I want it again.
Yeah.
Down the road. I'm pretty sure this is not going to be your last startup, right?
Yeah.
But
I'm on a, I would say I'm on a break, so to speak, from
no, chill, bro.
entrepreneurship. Just
Enjoy it.
resting,
Enjoy
but
it. Enjoy the employment life. Let Patrick worry about runway, okay? Focus on the metrics easier for you to do now, right? Because I did that too after I ran chatbot for a couple of years. It's going to be a different grind because now you're going to have to integrate and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But bro, I'm just super duper happy for you. You've been an inspiration. We've been competitors, but even though we were competitors before, I've always admired you as a person, as a founder. And eternally, I'm just so happy we're documenting this.
Mhm.
And you, if you're listening to this, you got next too. Okay, just keep on grinding. If the thing is shit right now, it's still
Just
gonna be
keep
shit
going.
for a while.
Yeah.
But just know that if you make the right necessary moves, right? The bilog ang bola, right?
Correct.
The tide will turn, and you just have to be ready when that opportunity strikes. Now let's take our last break, and when we come back, we will now talk about Gian's top 5 founders and his advice to help you get your company acquired. But let's talk about that more after the break.
Hey hustlers, PayMongo is your payment gateway for business growth. With PayMongo, you can accept online payments from your customers through Visa and MasterCard, debit and credit cards, GCash, Maya, RabPay, online banking, BNPL, installments, and many more. All with just one platform. For business owners, online payment collection used to be such a pain. Long negotiations and paperwork, complex developer docs, and having to gather all these proofs of payment from your customers would be a serious drag in your operations. Now with just one partner, you can simplify all of that and focus on growing your business. PayMongo's story showcases the resilience of Filipino businesses in today's digital economy. During the pandemic, they became a lifeline to countless businesses by helping them go online quickly, serve their customers, and generate revenue. They have since grown exponentially and now support thousands of businesses from SMEs to venture-backed startups and even the most established enterprises in the country. PayMongo's products allow you to accept all types of payments with or without a website, and they continue to expand into more streamlined financial services. So sign up for free today. Visit paymongo.com to get your business activated in 1 week or less. Hey hustlers, I know how difficult it is to do fundraising at the moment for any startup or any business. And especially given this market where investors are afraid to write any significant check that would help your startup either scale or extend your runway, your options are very, very limited. But don't worry, I think I found a solution that just might help. So if you're seeking capital for your sari-sari store, online business, restaurant, or startup, SeekCap's got you with a 24/7 fast and easy online loan application process, minimal paperwork, and real-time updates. Say goodbye to long lines and long waits with SeekCap. UBX Philippines' online lending marketplace for micro, small, and medium enterprises. Choose from a wide variety of loan products from 5,000 pesos up to 1 million pesos from trusted lenders. With SeekCap, you can apply for a business loan that's tailored to your needs, whether it's for capital, production, operations, or expansion. And check this out. You can apply anytime, anywhere in the Philippines. So what are you waiting for? Sign up at www.seekcap.ph. That's www.seekcap.ph and apply for a loan now.
And we're back from the break. We're still with Gian Rama, who then told us how he got his company acquired. And in a bit, we will talk about the tips on how to help you position your company to get acquired. But again, let's talk about the bag, right? Let's talk about the thing. Again, without breaking any legal docs. How is it? Is it, because like for me, dude, there are days like now in the P&A grinders, man, like fuck this shit. I'm so hard. It's so hard. But I look back in the bag and what that bag was able to allow me. I live in the house that was my dream house with my mom for 5 years now. I was like, shit, okay, I got this far. This is my life's trophy. That championship, this is it. I love it. I'm living it. It's not easy. It's still gonna be the same grind down the road, but this is my trophy, right? What will it then allow you to unlock now moving forward? Will it college for kids easy na? What is, you describe it lang without the talking about the number itself?
Yeah. So, well, definitely, no. College for the kids.
Yay!
For both.
Harvard?
No? We'll see.
Wow! Oh my
They have to
God!
pass. Sana.
Okay, but
And
you
they need to
can't,
get
Daddy
scholarship.
Can give you to
So-
MIT. Mhm. Okay.
So yeah, I mean at least their college education, that's for sure.
Nice.
In the end, so and also at the same time, just giving me that peace of mind that I
Yes.
don't have to worry. I mean, not naman sobra to the point na I can just buy everything left and right, but it's more than enough for me to not worry about living expenses, or at least giving my family a certain level of comfort, much better comfort than what they already are used to. But at the same time, kasi again, being an entrepreneur, one of the first things that I learned was to live simply. Right? I have my luho, obviously, everyone has.
Gadgets.
Yeah, gadgets. Everyone, well, my team knows
Which
that.
he flips after a few months.
Yes, I do. But aside from that, I've learned to live simply. I've learned to not want things that I can't afford. It was something that was beaten into me over this past 10 years, and I'm sure it will continue. So that plus the windfall, so to speak, will help the family, myself, be set for a very long time.
I love it.
And then, but there's one thing as well that it allows me to do, no? And this is something that I've been doing in very little, in small things, no, for the past couple of years, is it's given me enough to also give back.
Word.
Yeah, so whether it gives me now enough resources to either donate, to fund the scholarship, to do any of these things. Now I can do that. I've been doing that in very small, like increments. Not I couldn't fund like one scholarship, no, but I can at least fund part of it. But at least now I can fund several scholarships if I want to. So and that's what I'll be doing. Because I've learned, I've gotten to this point also because of the generosity of others.
Yeah.
Right?
We got a lot of help.
Correct. So now I want to be able to, give as much help as I can within reason, and to also, give help to people who who feel that they don't have the help, right?
Or they don't even have the chance.
Correct. So that's what this, I would say, acquisition has allowed or will allow me to do.
I love it.
No.
Again, just he's a good guy, and that's why he got blessed, because he had that straight up that he wanted to pay it forward. Right? Again, for me, this is my pay it forward. Hopefully down the road I can fund your scholarship. But wait lang, I'm broke right now. Still working on it. But again, that if you just have to develop that stamina and not give up to hopefully give yourself a chance to survive. So last couple questions before we take your top 5. I want to understand 2 things. First off, bro, how close did you get to giving up during the roughest of years?
Very, very close.
Can you
I
talk
think-
about certain instances that it's like, oh man, I'm done.
No, there was obviously in 2016, when right before we shifted to chatbots, there was really this realization that we had less than 4 months of runway left.
Oh my God.
The Cogito sales was dropping by a lot. We had a massive team. Well, massive at that point. We think we were like 20 plus. And then, I actually gave up already, in the sense that I decided to stop na.
Oh, no.
Like, the funny thing is, on the same day that I decided to stop was the same day that I thought about how to fix it. Right? Which is the irony, I gave up, and then just a few minutes later, like an hour later, like, what if I do this? No, I mean, maybe because the act of giving up somehow freed some brain cells to actually let me think.
Correct.
Kasi I was already resigned to doing, diba, to giving up. And then all of a sudden, wait lang, maybe if I do this,
Pwede pa.
pwede pa. Diba? So that's when I got that second wind. That was the first, I would think. There were several times in 2018 as well. not at this point, I didn't really give up, but it was close to giving up. And then, parang, that was before, it was always before something good happened. No? So, without giving up, we had so many things to pay. What if we did this, it didn't work? What if we did that, it didn't work? What I realized at that point, after actually giving up before, was that, yeah, it was difficult, but it wasn't as, parang I was able to handle it a lot better than the first time.
Yeah.
Right? So the third time it happened, like in the pandemic, it wasn't really giving up. Parang, oh yeah, nadaanan na natin to. I know what to do.
Yes,
right?
you've been through worse.
We've been through worse. And, it's a muscle, right? Every time you work on your muscles, it gets better. You get to lift heavier and so on and so forth. So, yeah. And then it really became, okay, what do we need to do? This is another problem that we need to solve. What did we need to do, right? Who do we need to speak to? What do we need to tighten our belt, so on and so forth. So it's always that. So
that's amazing. All right, again, all of it from coming from that moment to now. Again, it's just all worth it down the road. But okay, let's just give advice to our listeners here. What would be your advice to position? Because again, right place, right acquisitions are always about right place, right time.
Yeah.
Right? If you're actively selling your company, that's a red flag. People are like, why the fuck are you selling your company all of a sudden? Right? You just have to position yourself to be ready. Gian, what would be your advice for founders to position their startups to be acquired down the road?
Yeah. I think, I forgot the exact quote, but I'm a fan of Ted Lasso. So one of the quotes that he said is that, luck, and I'm paraphrasing, luck happens when you work hard enough. Right? So I guess my advice is work hard enough, right? You won't be able to sell if there is not something worth selling.
Correct.
Right? And in order to build something worth selling is you have to put the time, right? Work hard enough and, solve the problem that you've set out to solve.
Yep.
The nice thing about the market, it actually just weeds out everybody, right? So if you work hard enough and you just remain focused on your North Star, whatever that is, and then ask help as early as possible, right? Don't think that just because you're the founder, you can do everything, right? That's probably one of the keys to failure, not realizing that you need help. And then at the end of the day, give time to yourself. That's something that I didn't do as much, the past 10 years. I was really focused on Aiah, the team, that had almost zero time for myself. So it's a miracle that actually even lasted that long.
Yeah. Amazing.
But yeah, give time to yourself, take time to recharge, right? Even like 8 hours, take a leave. It's a founder can take leaves. Just meditate, have a silent, 8 hours, just reflect on what's happened, and then the problems won't disappear anyway. So it'll still be there when you get back. So yeah, give yourself a break every now and then. And then at the end of the day, it's always, believe. Again, balik ko Ted Lasso, believe. Belief is probably the strongest force that I know of. That's the only thing that will get a founder from point A to point B, even if the one in between is a mountain.
Yep.
Diba? Whether that belief is misguided or not, that doesn't matter. You have to believe, right?
Yeah.
So
the power of that belief will literally move that mountain or bore through it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the things that
That is amazing.
those are the advice I can give.
All right, before we wrap this baby up, we need to talk about Gian's Top 5 Founders, brought to you by Shoppable Business. Check it out, Shoppable Business. And again, shout out to if you want to source out the best B2B stuff, we built the studio using Shoppable. So check it out on shoppable.com. Gian, we need to give flowers to our peers. Because again, you're getting all the flowers, but I'm pretty sure just like me and just like you know some peeps that deserve a lot of credit in this ecosystem. So again, the only rules is you can't pick yourself.
Of course.
And you can't pick me. You don't have to fool me. I know I'm not a top 5. I know what I'm doing. But bro, who are your top 5 founders that you want to give flowers to? Pick number 1.
So, pick number 1 is Steve C.
Boss Steve.
Great deals. No? So,
why?
Combination of great business acumen and a great moral center, I would say.
Oh my God.
Diba? So his success is actually due to the fact that he is a wonderful person, a great guy, a great mentor, diba? So I look up to him. Yeah, so that's my first.
Number 2?
Second is Steph C. Thinking
machines.
So-
Another one that we gave us a lot of sleepless nights. My God, that girl's just too good.
Yeah, so
Too good.
very good actually. So yeah, obviously Steph, she has the skills. She grew the company. She actually grew it more unconventionally, so to speak, as us. No. But the work that they were doing is really fantastic. And and I respect her because you're right. She does scare me, right? In the sense that as a competitor, right? Not really a competitor, no, but as one of the leading lights in the AI space in the company,
she knows her shit.
in the country, right? So yeah, that's Steph. The third is obviously actually Patrick, right? So I've known Patrick for quite some time. I've seen Sprout, grow. He told me about the struggles during the pandemic, and then obviously them buying us. So this entire journey is actually very, I would say, inspiring. Plus he's a wonderful guy. His team is wonderful, and obviously the team is usually the reflection of the founder.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's number 3. The third, the fourth, is I would say a tie.
Okay, wow, we have a tie.
Yeah.
Who's this?
So it's actually same company. So the Bagosphere guys, Ellwyn and Gian. Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So-
Why? So okay, just give. What is Bagosphere? Because again, these are fellow Kickstart investees. They even got invested way more than we have, earlier than we have. I'm not sure if way more than. I'm not sure, but yeah. What does Bagosphere and what do their founders do?
Yeah. So and again, sorry Zhihan and Ellwyn if I mess this up, no, but they
Charge him na lang. He's liquid enough. Okay. Send an invoice. Okay.
so they actually help upskill. I would say upskill individuals who don't usually have the opportunity to get upskilled to get into BPO companies. And as an educator myself, I still teach. Having these guys, building this organization, which gives education to those who couldn't be educated for one way or another. That's very inspiring. Yeah. And of course, again, we've known them for a while. And again, there are very few people who get in that space.
Yeah.
Let alone to some extent non-Filipinos, if you think about it. I admire. So that's basically my number 4. Right?
Okay, who's the last pick?
Yeah. So actually,
Do you have a consolation 6 pick?
Wala naman. So actually, last, in no particular order naman, is my co-founder, si Aldrich.
Aldrich.
So, no, because obviously, Aldrich is not as active now with Aiah as he did, a couple of years ago. But he did start several businesses before Aiah. He started several businesses after Aiah. We're still very good friends. And he has a lot of success right now with Dice 205, his current business. And again, just like Steve, he has a very strong moral center. Sometimes it might not look it if you know Aldrich, diba?
I didn't say nothing, bro.
Right?
Okay, Aldrich.
Talkative and everything, right? Diba? Pwedeng kalog and all of that. But
he is crazy like me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he is actually a very, very, very good guy. I admire him. I don't tell it as much to him. So I'm telling it now in front of everybody. But
Flowers to you, Aldrich.
correct. I mean, I would say, sige, there's a 6th. It's Aldrich, who started Aiah with me, and Joyce, our other co-founder, who actually, continued Aiah after Aldrich left. No, so these two guys and gals, these are the ones who helped me. I couldn't have hit this milestone alone.
No.
So you still need co-founders. And yeah, these co-founders actually helped me a lot.
Absolutely. Again, we got a lot of help.
Correct.
Right? To get here. And again, we will wrap this baby up. But thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, bro.
Again.
Thanks for having me.
Bro, I'm just super duper happy for you. But again, what's up next for you? I'm pretty sure this is not gonna be the last.
Yeah.
Right? Now we have Founders Only, where people can go back and continue the story. Because what I realized again after doing Hustleshare, does it really end after I Hustleshare someone? No way.
No.
People get better. People fuck it up. People, those stories need to be immortalized. And I realized that after Joseph's passing. right? My role is to immortalize these stories so that people can learn from them. Right? So down the road, when, again, I don't know how long I'll be able to do this, but I'll keep doing it until I can. Right? And immortalize your stories so that the next startup founder already knows how to do it because Gian did it. That's amazing. But what's next for you?
Yeah, so two things. So one, I'll continue with Sprout. I'll be helping steer their
Memorize
AI.
your creed, okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will. Sorry, Pat. But I'll memorize the creed, and then I'll help steer their AI strategy. That's
Yep.
for sure. At the same time, I'll continue. I'll probably do more teaching. So I teach in Ateneo right now. So I'll probably
Sir
spend
Zhihan,
3 more units. I can now give 3
Nice.
more units to the.
What college or what thing are you teaching at?
Yeah, so I teach at the Information Technology Entrepreneurship course. So I mentor prospective, future startup
solid
founders.
exit on there. Teacher with an exit. How many people can say that?
Yeah, so now my students will believe me more.
There's more cred.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. No, but man, again, this is not gonna be the last time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Again, and for sure, whatever your next adventure is, we're always gonna be here on Founders Only. But before I let you go, follow us on whatever podcast app you're listening to, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any type of podcast app. And if you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe, because it's super weird to say that. I'm not a YouTuber, still a podcaster. But again, if you also want to have any questions or suggestions who you want to have next as guests, join the Hustleshare community on Facebook. That's where a lot of my questions I got. And by the way, shout out to a lot of our Hustleshare premium users. Again, Gab Abbott, Mon Opa, and all those other guys. Sorry if I butcher you, but shout out to you for supporting Hustleshare premium and Founders Only. Again, if you have any questions also on how that's going to work, just reach us at foundersonly@hustleshare.com. Again, Gian, congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Thank you so much for watching Hustleshare on YouTube. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to get more content like this. And to get the full audio episodes of Hustleshare and Founders Only, subscribe to our podcasts at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.